Good morning, welcome to Ag Talking Raw, where we talk raw about ag and other things that I want to talk about. And I also read comments and respond to those. So anyway, here we go. So last week, or when was that? Was it last week or was it Sunday? It was the beginning of the week, Sunday. Maybe it was Sunday. I don't even know now. But maybe it was Monday. Anyways, I'm wasting time. But anyways, I've been talking about milk an awful lot because milk is in the news as to dairy farmers getting basically screwed out of their livelihood by big corporations. Say Walmart. Boycott Walmart. Don't buy food there. It's a shame to say it, but go down to the small family-owned grocery store and buy your milk and eggs there. Walmart's milk tastes like shit anyway. I hate to say it, but that's just the cold hard fact of it. I do eat cereal from time to time, and we get our milk from Costco. And Costco is probably in the same category as Walmart at this point. But what they do is they drop the price on milk and eggs and stuff below cost of production just to get you in the store, and then there you have it. You're in the store and you buy other stuff. That's generally the way it is. There's a local store up the road here where Teresa used to work, and they were always 5 cents below everybody else back in the day. The state of New Jersey came in and, slapped their pee-pee a little bit for doing that. They said that the price is set and you cannot do that. So somewhere along the way, a big corporation like Walmart, Costco, or whoever else is big enough, Kroger's or whatever, found enough lobbyists to actually sway the politicians to waive that so that they could sell milk at below cost. In the end, it just hurts dairy farmers. So I proposed a 2-cent tax. I shouldn't call that a tax. I should call that a gratuity. When you say tax, it pisses people off, so you change the words. I mean, I guess I could be a politician and say a gratuity, which, you know what? You go into a restaurant, you have no problem giving 20% to the waitress, 15 to 20% to the waitress if she does a good job, or the waiter if he does a good job, and they call that a gratuity. And the reason that some of these places even have gratuity tax, and they do call that a tax, but gratuity already worked into the price because they don't pay their wait staff minimum wage or even close to minimum wage, which I guess I don't know if that's legal or not, but they all do it. So, so here we are. We're dairy farmers or grain farmers or beef farmers, cattle farmers, whatever you want to call us, goats, sheep, whatever, poultry. Why would a 2-cent gratuity on every package that is sold be so offensive to people? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because there was a guy that wrote in there, because you show all the ups and downs. Anyways, He's like, this is where we part ways because you're supporting the government. I'm not supporting the government in their taxation. I just would like to see the farmers get their fair share. The government sets the price of milk, right? The minimum price that can be paid, and the creamery follows suit by dropping it to the government's minimum price, where they can leave that milk on the shelf, whatever it is. Even Walmart, even though they're selling it for a, below cost, they know that they can sell it at below cost and get people into their store and buy a bunch of other stuff that are above cost, and that offsets the price for the below cost. So this guy, he's like, well, now I'm done. I'm not going to watch you anymore because you support a tax. Well, just call it a gratuity then. I mean, you're probably still watching anyway because I'm addictive. I know there's a lot of people that tell me that, oh, you suck and I'll never watch you again, but yet the next video, there they are. They're watching. Maybe they're not a subscriber, and I really don't care about that, but they are still watching, which I find to be rather funny. So, maybe I've got something going here that could possibly go someplace towards the farmers as a gratuity versus a flat tax or a tax that you would, just because, farmers would become rich, they don't want to do it. And that's the shame. that's the shame of it. Nobody wants a farmer to become rich, because the farmer will own the land, and then the developers can't scalp the land from the aging farmer for next to nothing, because they need money because someone's got cancer or some debilitating disease, and the kids don't want to take it up. So that's what happens to this farmland, and then you get encroachment from the cities and stuff, and they just continue to buy cheap food because they pump more fertilizer into the ground out west where it's nice. And even out west isn't out west anymore. I mean, when I was young, like 17 years old, that was my first trip out west, and man, it has changed an awful lot in those, I don't know, 25, 30 years. I'd say 30 years. I'm 45, so 28 years. It's 28 years really isn't that much time, but to see the difference as you go across Indiana, Illinois, then you get out into the plains states, like way out, and there's fields that are abandoned, and because there's lack of irrigation and stuff. But anyway, I even had some guys send me. One fella sent me the breakdown of his pay for milk. And I really didn't get a chance to look at it too much because I've been pretty busy. But anyways, I think that the consensus is that people watch my channels for the brutal honesty of it. And I know I do sound negative. I don't want to be negative, I'd love to be positive on all this stuff. But if this job was easy, anybody would do it. As Ken from 63 Impala two-door channel would say. He says, if this job was easy, little girls would be doing it, and that's not to say that little girls can't do this or wouldn't do this. It just takes a special kind of person. But this will be the last I talk about this now, is that for the most part, people say that 2 cents sounds good. As long as it is distributed by farmers to farmers. I mean, even as a voluntary post, once a year, everybody gets a check that's a dairyman in the state that you live in. Everyone gets the same money. Doesn't matter if you're milking 40 cows or if you're milking 4,000 cows. The price is the same. And the reason I say that on this is because, and I know it's going to sound kind of like distributing the wealth, a socialist program. The big guys are the ones that are hurting the little guys, okay? And it's a known fact. I'm sorry. The bigger you are, the harder it is for the little guy to continue to grow or do whatever. But if you're a 40 cow herd and you're happy milking 40 cows or 50 or 100 or whatever it is, or 400 or 4,000, great. The bonus that would go to the 4,000 or 40,000 cow herd would be like, oh, cool. You know what? Thank you. But the bonus that goes to the 40 cow herd, he's going to be really happy because that's going to boost his income enough that maybe he doesn't have to have that off-farm job and work twice as hard as anybody else, in the area that's farming, because, let's face it, it's hard being a dairyman. You don't even get a vacation. Maybe you'll take that bonus and hire somebody to milk those cows while he goes on a vacation with his family. Wouldn't that be a lovely concept? But, it's kind of like a redistribution of wealth if you look at it that way. Not that I'm not socialist in any way. I mean, I'm a conservative, but when it comes down to the decay of the dairy industry or even any farming practices that are going on now, corn, soybeans, they're pretty dismal compared to what they were in 1979, or 1980. I mean, when I was a kid, my grandfather died in 1981, and milk was over $13 a hundred in 1981. Our input costs were probably 1/10 of what they are today. Fuel, tractors, equipment, didn't matter, I mean, we were milking 60, 70 cows at that time. We have a 60 cow barn, and I remember turning out 12. So 72 cows at that time. So we were turning them out, meaning switching out, because we milked in a stanchion barn. But we had new equipment. Tractors were new. The combine was new. I mean, you tell me what dairy farmer can buy a brand new tractor today and make the payments on the current milk price. It just isn't going to happen. Maybe those 40,000 cow herds can buy it with cash, but I've heard that they're in debt to their eye teeth also. So, Anyways, boycott Walmart because they are really the death blow to a couple of hundred dairy farmers in an area out west here, like Pennsylvania. Actually, Dean Food just cut out, I guess, another 40 herds. Terrible. But I'm going to answer some questions here. We had a 10-minute mark. I worked at a feed yard for 6 years, and we had to fix something every day. Like you said, farming isn't easy. Well, that's correct. 2-cent tax is so fucking simple. Since they turned that idea down, it shows that they just don't give a fuck about farmers. They are rolling in the dough while we are lapping at the puddles in the road. Yeah, correct. So this 2-cent thing is going to go on a little bit longer. But yes, correct. All right, so, how are you going to keep track of every container? It's simple. The creameries or the any truck deliveries that are made into the state, whether it's out of state or interstate, in the state, those, they're counted, not cases. If there's 48 pieces in a case, it's 48 pieces you get the 2 cents for. It's real simple. It's not really that difficult. It would probably take 10 people, minimum whatever the hell they want to get paid, they'd have to be paid, obviously. But if you had 10 people and, let's see, 10 people, $50,000 a year to do that job, which would be reasonable. You could get college kids to do it for half the price, $25,000 a year. Wouldn't that be nice? They could do it in their spare time, but it's a once a year payout, so they work for 1 month out of the year to do this. They get the figures in, they figure them out. And to be quite honest with you, this could all be done on a computer with one person if they really wanted to. But, you'd have to really, the organizers of this thing would have to be very stringent in the way that it is set up so that the government could not get their hands on it. Government would have absolutely nothing to do with it. The collection would come directly from the government from the taxation or directly from the stores that are selling it. That 2 cents would be directly deposited into a cooperative account where there would be a minimum amount of employees with a cap. You can't do any more than 10 people or 5 people or whatever it is. But it would be really interesting to see how this goes. You're right, farming these days sucks. It does. Oh, and my dad called me up this morning. He said, hey, you know what you do with this thing? Here, I got another one. This guy here. This right here. Don't lie on this. That's incriminating. When you lie, you're lying, and they can prosecute you for lying, believe it or not. I found that to be rather ridiculous. So don't lie on those surveys. Just right across it, I have the right to remain silent. That's what Dad told me to say. So my dad's a pretty smart guy. I have the right to remain silent. I said I plead the fifth. Well, I think they're kind of the same, but I have the right to remain silent. Write that across it and mail it back. See what happens with that one. Actually, I'd love to see a lot of people do that so it makes the farming channels, hey, we're getting a bunch of these USDA things with I have the right to remain silent. Wouldn't that be awesome? Farmers are boycotting the census. Wouldn't that be just totally cool that it could stem from my little channel here? Wes, don't worry about the length of your videos. Who cares? Just say what you want to say. Well, if I say it all in one video, there will only be one video. I love fixing equipment, especially when harvesting season comes around and something goes wrong on the combine. It don't matter what color you got, it's going to break, which is true. And I think the I love fixing equipment is sarcasm, which, that's okay. We love that. People only like to share their successes. You share your wins and your losses, not negative, just an overall picture of life and thoughts, experiences. The overall picture of your life and thoughts, experiences, not all unicorns and rainbows, which is true. There are so many channels that just don't touch on the whole scope of things. They'll say a little bit of it, not the cost, never the cost. It's like, I'll show the cost. Yeah, it costs me a lot of money to fix this, because there are a lot of people that watch my One Lonely Farmer channel that are like, holy shit, how can you afford that? I mean, that transmission in my tractor, $10,500, and that's without all the little giblets that I had to run down to the auto parts store, plus the oil and the filters and all that stuff. Wow, gets damned expensive damn quick. So, and that's it. And I put it in. If I had the dealer put it in, it would have been over $20,000, and that tractor would have went down the road and never used again. It would have been to the boneyard for it. So, yeah, unless the John Deere dealer felt that they could get a lot of money for it because it's a nice tractor, which, you know, this tractor burned once. I mean, it's had trouble. It's had a lot of trouble. It still made me money, though. I can't complain about it too much. It still has made me money. I probably should have sold it when it burned and bought a newer one or something. I don't know. But, hey, thanks for the free shout-out. Yeah, Hitchton Farms. You know, I watch some of your stuff. I see your dad's has got an Instagram account, and I look at that stuff, too. Pretty good stuff. Our last vacation, this is videos by Al. He is a sawmill guy. He runs a Wood-Mizer LT50 electric, and he says that his last vacation was August 20th, 1990. He works 80 hours a week. Well, wow, you know, we do too, you know, but I make time to go. I have to. I'll go stir crazy if I don't. You know, it's just a recharge your batteries kind of thing, and Al, I think you and Linda should probably pack up in a week. Take a decent week's vacation. Just say, you know what? Take the F it all pill. I know the bills are coming in and they never stop. Well, they never stop for me either. And then just go. You'll come back. Your batteries will be recharged. Yeah, it's a little stressful to get back into the swing of things, but do it because it's good for the soul. I know that Linda lost her mom here recently, and, you know, God bless her. And, you know, it's just maybe it would be good for you both to get out and go do something together away from the sawmill. I mean, it's something different. I know you guys work together and you're a great team together. I watch both of your videos, and it's great to see that. But you know, me and Teresa work together, and it's nice to just say, hey, let's go, let's get out of here and go do those things. Make sure that we're still in touch with one another, which is nice because I've never had that before. 2 cents is chimp change. Yes, it is. Could you do a video on the 4320? Well, yes, there are 4320 videos coming. I'm actually going to pull the hood off because it's next to near impossible to get a hood for a 4320 for under $3,000 that's in somewhat decent shape. So I'm going to take my hood off and I'm going to send it over to the body shop, and I'm going to get them to do some work to it, like fix it up right. So half the people who say they can do it can't. True. Some people need to live in the real world and not the snowflake world. Well, yes, we are melting snowflakes one at a time on this channel. I do not sugarcoat anything. It's just, well, I might sugarcoat my coffee or my water. Now I don't sugarcoat water. I'm 14 years old, getting into ag. I know the challenges. That will not deter me. You, my friend, will be a great farmer. Your name is Caleb. Wow, something mowing. Caleb Mowing. Yeah, that's your name. So, hey, if you've got the determination to do the job, go for it. You're the type of guy that we need out here in agriculture. But we also need someone with a voice that's going to stand up and say, hey, middleman, you suck, and we need to change some things. I know we are less than 1% of the U.S. population, or even the world population for that matter. India, go look on YouTube for farmers committing suicide. Indian farmers, and I know, don't make jokes about Indian farmers. They are just like us. They get up in the morning, they go to work, they have the same challenges as we do, only they got it pretty bad because they're killing themselves every day. Every day, and I feel bad for that, for those guys. You're not negative, you just show the facts. Shit happens, and that's the way it is. Correct. Both of your channels are my favorite because you tell it like it is, so please keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, Haggard Farms. No, that wasn't Haggard Farms. No, that was the one before that. Both H Turbo. Yeah, somebody turbocharged a Farm All H. I'd like to do that with one of the M's. But okay, Fat Boy HD88. I'm going to read yours. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to read it anyway. I, for one, love your honesty, Wes, and your raw look at the way you do every day. And I'm sure the rest of your followers do also. So don't change a thing, buddy. I get bored watching the farm channels where it's the same old thing every day, where your channel is different every day. Wonder what Wes is into today. Love it. Goes great with the morning coffee. Thanks. I've already had my coffee, but yeah, thanks for sticking around. Have you heard of the glyphosate debate over here in Europe? The majority of the population is completely against the use of glyphosate due to the media influence. Luckily, we have glyphosate for 5 more years. But after that, it'll probably be forbidden. And more cities and townships are restricting and prohibiting use of glyphosate or any other pesticide on their land. Some even obligate the renter farmer of their land to farm organic. That's in Germany. Yes, well, I've heard about the glyphosate debates over there. Germany, Bayer Aspirin or Bayer Corporation, I believe, is one of the largest chemical producers. BASF, I believe, is also German. You guys make some other chemicals that we aren't allowed to use here, like heroin. No, I mean, well, actually, Bayer Aspirin or Bayer Corporation was the producer of heroin, the original heroin, before it was banned in 1932, I think, or 36. All right. 2-cent gratuity tax would be a wonderful solution for the dairy industry. Actually, I think it would be a wonderful solution for all industry. If there was even per bushel, 2 cents per bushel that goes directly to the grain growers, you know, that would be great. I'm okay with that. You know, you grow soybeans, and for every bushel of beans produced in the state of New Jersey or used in the state of New Jersey, corn used in the state of New Jersey or any other state in the union, that 2 cents goes directly to the guys that are growing it to offset some of the costs of the smaller producers to, you know, from the big producers. They all get the same dollar amount. So if there's 10,000 farmers in the state of Pennsylvania and there were 50 million bushels of beans or corn produced, those 2 cents could get distributed equally amongst them all. Not on their size, just here it is. We have $10 million, and we're gonna, you know, you each get $1,000 or whatever the hell it is. I mean, it doesn't sound like much, but $1,000 could take you to Florida. I support the 2 cent tax. Yeah. I don't like to drink milk anyway. Never have. And I grew up on a dairy farm. I do like butter, though. Yeah, homemade butter is so much different than the shit you buy in the store. So if you know anything about actual butter churn butter, and I'm not jerking off, I'm actually butter churning here, it's good stuff. Let it get a little rancid. Here we go. Chucky 2009, Lance. Thanks for being real, Wes. Thanks for being real, Lance, and you do too. You're a pretty real guy. I love your tractor follies. For God's sakes, man, I need to come down there and show you a thing or two. But I love your tractors. You know, they're great. That Farmall. I watched that Farmall M build series, and I'm like, F4 Phantom came to mind. And the reason I say the F4 Phantom is if you look at that airplane. You look at that airplane and they got, you know, dihedrals and then anhedrals on the wings to correct the problems from everything else. And your Farmall M was an F4 Phantom of tractors, you know, the airplane equivalent. But yes, ship breaks every day, man, and sometimes for no good reason. Mechanic Steve. Yes, that is absolutely 100% correct. Like when your tractor's apart for a month and a half or down for a year and everything worked on it when you parked it there except for the transmission that you're going to spend $10,500 on to get it up and going, and then when you turn the key the 4-wheel drive unit's stuck on. Now why is that? You know, you're like, what the hell, this thing worked just fine, and this little electronic coil gizmo for some reason with the batteries out of it, it went bad. I'm thinking lightning strike, I don't know, but anyway, that's just the way that is. Yeah, build another one of those tractors, you know. That was pretty cool. I think you sold it, didn't you? How do you put the blade on and off of the John Deere 5020? It's simple. It's just 2 bolts in the front, a pin that goes all the way to the back of the drawbar. I'm going to pull that tractor out possibly today. because I'm going to get ready to put that turbocharger on there. Yes, the turbocharger. So, anyways, I got to get going. I got work to do. So, thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe for more. Obviously, I say that on the other channel, but this one too. And I'll talk back at you on Sunday, unless I feel the need to do it again.